Jonathan, what do we know about these plans for tomorrow and this call to action? A call to act and do what?
Neil, Khaled Mashaal has announced that it's time for Arabs and Muslims around the world to be more creative, as he puts it, than in the past, and let the world know that they are part of this battle. He's urged Arabs and Muslims in their own countries and in the streets of the diaspora everywhere to turn tomorrow, Friday, October 13th, into a day of rage. And he wants that to be rage aimed at Zionists and Americans in support of Hamas's war against Israel, which really should make people afraid, because some of these protests we've seen around the world already in favor of the Palestinians, they say, but in response to brutal massacres by Hamas, well, they've been pretty violent or pretty unpleasant for Jewish people. I can tell you here in the UK, Jewish people are quite afraid in university campuses and places like that. There's been something like a 400% increase in anti-Semitic incidents, according to the Community Security Trust here. The government here has pledged millions more immediately to the Community Security Trust, a Jewish organization to help protect the Jewish community. And in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, they've actually cancelled Jewish schools for Friday in anticipation of what might happen. So I think that we need to really assess what's going on in Israel at the moment, and this day of rage called for in conjunction with the anti-Semitism that lies at the core, the very heart of Hamas's ideology.
I wonder it's also about, Don, you're so good at this and knowledgeable about the history of this, for something more. And I think of how it might try, or this is a part of the people planning this, to unite the Arab world. Mashaal himself, I guess, is based in Qatar. He has said that the governments and peoples, quoting here, of Jordan, Syria, Lebanon, and Egypt have a bigger duty to support the Palestinians. He said the tribes of Jordan, the sons of Jordan, the brothers and sisters of Jordan, this is a moment of truth. The borders are closing in on you. You all know your responsibility. What does he mean, you all know your responsibility?
You may well ask, and I think many of us have an idea what it might mean. I think really what's at the heart of all of this, as I said before, is this deeply rooted anti-Semitism that is central to Hamas's ideology, because this isn't a dispute about land or a dispute about occupation, because Gaza hasn't been occupied by Israel for a very long time. This is a bloodthirsty desire to roast babies, to kill, to rape, to behead people with axes. These are the videos and pictures I personally have seen with my own eyes as a result of what happened on Saturday. They're so horrific that they really can't be shown to the wider world through the media, but Hamas put them out there so that everybody could see them. And the Hamas founding charter, their founding document, is crystal clear that what they want is for all Jews to be killed. Literally, that's what it calls for. So when we keep hearing these analogies from Israel and others that Hamas is ISIS, that they need to be treated like ISIS, crushed like ISIS were, I think we need to take that not literally. They're not exactly the same fanatical Islamist terrorists, but they have a very similar ideology and methodology. They are brutal, evil, animal-like people who are willing to stop at nothing to inflict pain and torture and suffering on Jewish people, and indeed, as they're saying, on America, who is supporting Israel as they see it. Remember, in that kind of ideology, you have the great Satan and the little Satan, the United States and Israel. So I think it's vital that people really see this for what it is, both in terms of how they look at what's going on in Israel now, but also in terms of how they react to what's going on in their own cities, even in the West. Here in London, over in the States, in DC, in New York, we've seen ugly protests already starting, some countries suggesting they want to stop them happening because they're scared of what it could escalate into. And so they should be, because in Israel, we've really seen what it can escalate into. Some people have been comparing this to the Holocaust. And I want to say this isn't the Holocaust. It's not historical. It's not the same. But it is a bloodthirsty desire to kill Jews. And I think it's a modern, current-day version. And that's what people need to be afraid of.
Got it. Jonathan, thank you for that. Jonathan Sacerdoti.